I welcome you all to this ninth standard mathematics bridge course class. Let us start the class with arithmetic fundamentals. Today we have the basic addition of integers. When you add two positive integers, the sum will be positive. When you add two unlike integers, the result will be either positive or negative depending on the absolute value of the integer. Like we can see here, 3 plus 5, when you add we get 8 because they are two positive integers. In the second example, we have plus 5 and minus 3. Plus 5 absolute value is greater, so we get plus 2. In the third example, you can see it is 3 plus of minus 2. Here the absolute value of 5 is greater, it is having a negative sign. So we get 3 plus of minus 5 as minus 2. These two examples you have to remember. And at the last we have addition of two negative integers. When you add two negative integers, the sum will be always negative. Like here, minus 3 plus of minus 5 will be equal to minus 8. Remember these examples. Now we shall look at the rules for multiplication of integers. When you multiply two positive integers, the product will be always positive. When we multiply two negative integers also, we get the product as positive. And in the last two cases, you can see that when we multiply unlike integers, that is 1 plus and 1 minus, we get the product as always a negative integer. These two rules of multiplication you have to remember. Now let us look at some examples related to multiplication. First one, you can see a positive and negative integer being multiplied, that is 7 into minus 3, we get the product as minus 21. In the second example, we have 4 into 3, which is 12. Product of two positive integers will be always positive. In the fourth example, you can observe when you multiply two negative integers, the product will be positive, that is minus 7 into minus 2, we get the product as 14. Similar type of examples you need to consider for integers, and you have to practice for yourself, children. Let us now look into rules of division of integers. When you divide two positive integers, the quotient will be always positive. When you divide an like integer and unlike integer, we get the quotient as always negative. Let us look at this example. Plus 8 divided by minus 4, we get the quotient as minus 2. We are dividing unlike integers, that is why we get the quotient as minus 2. In the next example, we have division of two like integers, that is when you divide two positive integers, the quotient will be always positive. Similarly, when you divide two negative integers, the quotient will also be positive. Remember these rules of division. Now we shall look at the important algebraic identities of 8th standard. They are a plus b the whole square, which is a square plus 2ab plus b square, and a minus b whole square, which is a square minus 2ab plus b square. And the third identity is a square minus b square. Its factors are a plus b into a minus b. And the fourth identity is x plus a into x plus b, which gives us x square plus x into a plus b plus ab. Here we have an example for a plus b whole square identity, which is a square plus 2ab plus b square. We have the example of 2y plus 5 whole square, where a is taken as 2y and b is taken as 5. When you substitute the value for a and b, we get this as 2y the whole square plus 2 times of 2y into 5 plus 5 square, which is a square plus 2ab plus b square. On simplifying this, we get 4y square plus 20y plus 25. Moving on to the second identity, which is a minus b whole square. We have the example of 2a minus 7 whole square, where a is taken as 2a and the value of b is 7. As we know, a minus b whole square is equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. By substituting a as 2a and b as 7, we get 2a whole square minus 2 times of 2a into 7 plus 7 square. On simplifying this, we get 4a square minus 2 into 7. 2 2's 4, 4 7's 28a plus 7 square, which is 7 into 7, that gives us 49. Let's move on to the next identity, which is a plus b into a minus b, that gives us a square minus b square. We have to find the value of 54 into 46 using this identity. 54 is written as 50 plus 4, which is in the form of a plus b, and 46 is written as 50 minus 4, that gives us the form of a minus b. When you simplify this using the identity a plus b into a minus b, a square minus b square, that is 50 whole square minus 4 square. 50 whole square is 50 into 50, that gives us 2500, minus 4 square, 4 into 4, that is 16. We get it as 2484, 2484. Now we shall look into geometry, some of the important terms and formulas related to geometry. One of the fundamental term in geometry is angle. As you can see, two rays with a common vertex is called angle. You can observe the two rays, ray 1 and ray 2. Both these rays have a common vertex. It is called angle. The next important term in geometry is triangle. A triangle is defined as three straight lines which intersect each other at their end points. Remember, it is a plane figure. We can define this triangle as a plane figure enclosed by three non-collinear line segments at their end vertices. You have studied about these triangles in your primary classes. Next, we have a four-sided polygon which is called as quadrilateral. A polygon which is enclosed by four sides at their end vertices is called a quadrilateral. Remember the property of a quadrilateral. the sum of four interior angles in a quadrilateral will be always 360 degrees. Now we shall look at the different types of quadrilaterals. They are rectangle, square, parallelogram, rhombus, trapezium and kite. All these quadrilaterals you have studied in your 8th standard. You can observe these quadrilaterals. The next important term in geometry is a circle. Circle is defined as a locus of points which are equidistant from a fixed central point. In this diagram of circle, you can see the center is given as A and the distance from the center to the circumference is called radius of a circle. Now we have the different terms involved in a circle. They are arc, radius, diameter, chord, secant and tangent. All these terms you are going to study in your 9th standard geometry in the later on classes. Remember these terms such as arc, radius, diameter, chord, secant and tangent. This is about the plane figures. Now we shall move on to the solid figures. A solid figure is a three-dimensional figure. It is composed of length, breadth and height. That is why we consider this as a solid figure. You can see the solid figure in this picture of cuboid. There are different types of solid figures. They are cube, cuboid, sphere, pyramid, cylinder. Cone, prism and pyramid also are some of the solid figures which you are going to study in your 9th standard geometry. Coming back to your 8th standard solid figures, you have learned about cube and cuboid. We have the formula for this cube and cuboid. Any solid figure will have three important formulas, that is lateral surface area or LSA, total surface area or TSA and its volume. As they are solid figures which are three-dimensional, they will have three important formulas to be remembered. Cuboid, you can remember the example of the classroom or the room where you sit in your house. That will be in the shape of cuboid. The volume of cuboid is given as L into B into H, that is length into breadth into height. The lateral surface area of a cuboid is given by the formula 2H into L plus B, and the total surface area is given as 2 times of LB plus BH plus HL, that is length into breadth plus breadth into height plus height into length. Coming on to the cube. You would have observed this cube when you play with that dice in the game of snake and ladders. This cube will be composed of 6 square faces. The volume of cube is given by the formula A cube, that is A into A into A. 3 sides of this cube are multiplied, which are of equal length, to get this A cube, and the lateral surface area is given by the formula as 4A square. If you look at the total surface area of a cube, it is 6a square, since it is composed of 6 square faces, and the formula for the area of square is a square. We get the formula for total surface area of a cube as 6a square. These formulas we have to write and practice. Moving on with geometry, the other important aspect that you have come across in 8th standard is about these axioms and postulates, which were proposed by Euclid. You can see the picture of Euclid to the left side of this image. Euclid is considered as the father of geometry. He made two important assumptions related to some fundamental statements of geometry, which are axioms and postulates. These axioms and postulates are considered as the universal truths. Axioms are nothing but the general statements which are accepted without any question and applicable to all branches of sciences. And postulates are considered as the statements which are particular to geometry and are accepted without any question. These axioms and postulates are very important. Now let us look into axioms which was proposed by Euclid. The first axiom states that things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. The second axiom states that when equals are added to equals, the wholes are equal. The third statement of axiom is if equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders obtained will be equal. The fourth axiom is things which coincide with one another are congruent. The fifth and the final axiom states that whole is always greater than its parts. Now let us move on to postulates. First postulate states that a straight line segment can be drawn joining any two points. The second postulate states that any straight line segment can be extended indefinitely in a straight line. And the third postulate is given as any straight line segment, a circle can be drawn having the segment as radius and one end point as the center of the circle. The fourth postulate states that all right angles are congruent. That means they are equal to one another. Euclid's fifth postulate is also called as the parallel postulate. It states that if a straight line falling on two straight lines make the interior angle on the same side of it as two right angles, then the two straight lines, when produced indefinitely, meet on that side on which the sum of angles is less than two right angles, that is 180 degrees. We shall try to understand this fifth postulate with this example. We have two straight lines AB and CD. These two straight lines are cut by another straight line. You can see the angles marked in the first figure, that is 1 and 2. When the sum of these two angles are less than 180 degree, these two straight lines will intersect each other. In the second figure, you can observe that the sum of two interior angles formed between the lines AB and CD are equal to 180 degrees. As the sum of these two interior angles 1 and 2 are equal to 180 degree, the straight lines AB and CD will be parallel to each other. Let us look at this statement once again. If a straight line meets two other lines so as to make the two interior angles on one side of it together less than two right angles, the other straight line will meet if produced on that side on which the angles are less than two right angles. It is very simple, children. If the sum of two interior angles formed is less than 180 degree, then these two straight lines AB and CD, when they are extended, will not be parallel and they will intersect each other at some point. These are the 5 postulates of Euclid. These axioms and postulates that you have studied now are important for you in your 9th standard also. For the examples of these axioms and postulates, you can refer into your 8th standard maths textbook, children. You will have more examples related to these axioms and postulates. These statements you have to write, read and practice it. These are important once again in your 9th maths. Now it's time for your homework based on today's class. There are 5 simple questions given. First one is simplify minus 230 plus 350. The second one is expand 2p plus q the whole square using a plus b whole square formula. Third question is evaluate 52 into 48 using a suitable identity, that is a square minus b square identity you have to apply by converting 52 into 48 as a plus b into a minus b factors. Fourth question is state or write all the axioms and postulates. All the statements you have to write it neatly. And the fifth question is name the different types of quadrilaterals. All the answers you need to write it neatly and submit that to your group in charge teachers. Thank you.